Welcome back, everyone. This is now episode 8 of Eskimo Brothers Reviews. Again, I am Soyboy Beta Cuck 69, and over here is Shadowman 0050. Today, we are reviewing the film Jojo Rabbit. Now, Shadowman, when I first said Jojo Rabbit, what were your original thoughts?
I was thinking it either had to be anime or something like a Donnie Darko kind of thing where it's just weird.
Shadowman is not a fan of anime, so we're going to try to do that somehow. Maybe episode 10, maybe 11, we'll see. We'll figure it out. But unfortunately for him, this was not. This was a comedy with some dramatic parts, a little bit like a period piece. It's set in the 1940s. So it's a mix of all things, but no anime. So I would say a summary of the film, if you haven't seen it, haven't heard about it. It's from 2019. It's written by, directed by Taika Waititi, who is from New Zealand. He's got a reputation for a different kind of a comedy style. But yeah, so this is a Taika Waititi film. So the main character is named Jojo. He's 10 years old. He lives in Germany in the mid-1940s. And he is also a member of the Hitler Youth. He's a big fan of that stuff. But it's mostly about him and his transition and his way of thinking and just how life happens and how anything's possible. So overall, before we get into it, I thought it was a pretty decent film. I thought it was definitely different. It's not like your average comedy like you might find like Step Brothers or something like that. Just goofy and like one-liners and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting.
It was definitely unique. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that.
Yeah. And I don't know how many awards it was nominated for, but it was it's definitely a different type of film.
Yeah.
And that's why I brought it up, because it was so different and not the usual thing that Shadowman here might have some feelings for it either way.
You could almost compare it to The Little Hours, just not as over the top with its goofiness.
Yeah, no, that is true, because there's
that's a different kind of movie too.
Yeah, that is also pretty different. Yeah, there's serious parts, comedic parts.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the dialogue was pretty well written. The way the characters interact with each other, I could tell there's meaningful relationship between all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty much it's about a young boy living in Germany, and he's a member of the Hitler Youth, and he's just he doesn't have any brothers or sisters, doesn't have a father. It's just him and his mother living there. So he's trying to find a way to figure out himself. He's pretty lonely and pretty sad. And the first thing I thought of that when you look at this kid and you realize how alone he is, and you personally at that age, you just want to fit in. So maybe that's why he joined the Hitler Youth, to fit in with all the other kids his age, and to find some people that he could be a part of, and not be bullied, not be forgotten. Always have someone to lean on, and always be part of a group that understands him.
Also, another part of that might be you never really get to see his father, so you don't know exactly what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But he's told that his father's fighting for the Nazis in Italy.
Yeah, so that's probably a big part of it too. If his father's not there, he wants to be like his dad and make him proud. So that's a good idea too. But going into that, it also just kind of shows historically the innocence of children and how they can be manipulated. Because this whole thing, there's a lot of truth in this film, and it's not all comedy and jokes and making fun of the Nazis. It's, there's actual, like, deep, meaningful things in here. So, yeah, that's something that I noticed was that, how you can, like, mold kids of that age into thinking a certain type of way, and how you can just use propaganda and, thinking
And usually kids that age, they learn their sense of morality from their parents.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going along with it, they're just, oh yeah, well that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, one thing I think they should have done at the beginning, they show a book burning. You don't see what books they're burning.
You don't, yeah, there's...
Well, I don't know why they even showed that if you're not going to at least give one example of what's being burnt.
Yeah, in one of the beginning scenes, it shows Jojo at, like, a Hitler Youth, like, camp.
Yeah.
And just all the different activities they have to do. It's just wild, and it's probably relatively accurate.
Nazi Boy Scouts, essentially.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Learning, there's different age brackets, and learning how to do certain things when, in terms of, like, warfare and other things.
I've never heard another movie use the term innocent Nazis. That made me laugh pretty hard.
Yeah, there was, I don't know if you can tell, by what we've said, but there is a lot of Nazi stuff in it, so, because it does take place in Germany in the 1940s. So that was a major part of it. And
looks like it takes place in 1944, and then towards the end of it's obviously 1945.
yeah, I did like how the accuracy of the weapons and what seemed to be the clothing and different styles there. Also, at least what I was taught, towards the end of the war, once the Germans kind of knew that things were going downhill for them, they didn't have enough fighting age soldiers to protect the homeland when they were being invaded. They used young kids and women and old men to help, like, defend. And at the end of the movie, they kind of show that too, how they just all out, just desperation, just here, help protect your country. But I thought that was pretty cool they showed that too, because that's, historically accurate.
Jojo has an imaginary friend through the movie who's Hitler.
Yeah.
His childlike vision of what Hitler would be, I guess.
Yeah, that's a pretty important part of the film, and I didn't even write any of that down.
Yeah. There's a couple of times when the Hitler character gets really passionate and starts yelling, and it's like, wow, that kind of is like him.
Yeah, it
the
looked,
footage you see of him.
Yeah, it looked a lot like it. But yeah, that was like another thing, just being a 10-year-old kid, being lonely, you're going to have, made up friends. You need something to pass the time. And if you have a friend that always agrees with you on everything, and that makes it nice. There was, the music. I think the music was the last thing I wanted to talk about. I know that's usually Shadow Man's thing, but yeah, in the beginning, one of the first scenes is it's a Beatles song, a famous Beatles song, but it is sang in German, and
yeah, that first Beatles album, I think they recorded it in German also for selling records in Germany.
I think it did start in Hamburg.
Yeah, they did tour there a lot.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, so like one of the first songs you hear is that, and I don't know if you want to talk about like the pictures that went with it, but so from what we've seen from Beatles concerts, people are going crazy, they're going wild, it's the Beatles.
Yeah, it's like that 1963, 64 kind of the black and white video you see of them getting off the plane in the United
Yeah.
States for the first time, and people are.
Yeah, people are fainting, people
Yeah.
are acting crazy, running around, you know.
It's showing footage like that along with footage of like Hitler giving speeches
Yeah.
and stuff like that. How passionate people were over their choice of politician.
And Shadow Man and I agree. We've never been that passionate about any politician or probably even any person in general.
No.
Like to act that wild and that hysterical and that crazy for these people is just, I don't understand it. But, it was the 40s. Whatever, it was a different time, right?
One thing that took a while to pay off that I noticed was that, like, the movie almost had a shoe fetish.
Mm-hmm.
I kept showing the shoes, and I noticed especially JoJo's mother's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
But that does pay off at one point.
Yes, it does.
Because I wrote it down thinking, what is wrong with this? Like, what is with the shoes? And it resolves.
Yeah, there was also a lot of dancing. You know, his mother says, you know, people dance, you know,
Mhm.
free people dance. And so she danced 2 or 3 times in the film, and at the end JoJo does some dancing too. Now I don't know, you know, how much of that was Taika Waititi and his view of it, but this was based on a book too. I saw in the beginning. I didn't read what the title was. That's my apologies. But yeah, it was based on a book, so I don't know how much that was involved in the filmmaking process or how accurate it is for that. But yeah, do you have anything else to add?
What did you think your favorite part was? I think mine was when JoJo asks his imaginary Hitler friend, "Do you think I'm ugly?" And he says, "Yes." I think that was the best laugh I got.
Yeah, I don't know if I had like a favorite part, but JoJo's best friend, besides imaginary Hitler, his best friend, the scenes with him were pretty funny. Just those two interacting and the dialogue and, you know, just how they act with one another. And it's nice and refreshing. You know, to see like kids that age and remember ourselves when we were younger, and, you know, having friends like that and best friends and the things we would talk about and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'd say that's it. That's a wrap on this one. Do you happen to know what we're doing for episode 9?
Yep, episode 9 will be Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Just to wrap those movies up.
Yeah, get that out of the way for some anime. Perfect. Alright, everyone. Again, Swordboy Beta Cuck 69 and Shadowman 0050 here. Signing off. We'll see you next time.
Turn off this camera before I choke him.
Oh.
They're going along with it. They're just, oh yeah, well that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, they don't know any better.
Right.
Yeah, it's just they see it and they're like, oh, okay, that works. Pause here. You may proceed. Yes,
No, this is funny.
I'm keeping my stance. We're just gonna pretend like nothing happened, and we're just gonna edit this eventually, or just keep it all in.